here I am to talk about this 1000 days on Duolingo. Can an app actually teach you a language? Let's try to answer this question. So let's start from the fact that I've lived in China during the pandemic, and just because I happened to be in China, I moved to China a month or two before the pandemic would start. And then I was like, okay, let's just stay in the country and see what happens. You know, like every other person, if you move to China, you're like, oh, I'm going to stay here for a year, then I'm going to go back to my country, or I'm going to go to another country. But then you just stay in the country. And that's how I decided to stay in China, even though we were facing the pandemic. Here is the thing that I'm pretty shy to admit, is that I didn't study Chinese when I was living in China. So between 2019 and 2023, August 2023, so I've spent around 4 years in China. I haven't studied Chinese because it was very stressful. I had cultural shock. We had a lot of restrictions, lockdowns, and I couldn't focus on that. And every year I was like, anyway, next year I'm going to go back to my country, and I don't need that. And why do I actually need Chinese? Well, the problem was that I think I was too young to understand that I needed the language. Besides, there was another reason as well. Back then I was studying Italian, and I wanted to focus on one language, learn it, master it, and then move on to another language, because I didn't want to know like 5 languages, and to have like B1 level of proficiency. So back then I could read and watch Italian and understand, but I couldn't speak well. But then later I met my husband online, an Italian one, so just ended up improving my spoken oral Italian. Anyway, let's come back to the topic. So can an app actually teach Chinese? Well, yes and no, depends what you want to focus on. If you're a beginner, I would definitely recommend that you download the app and then practice every single day, at least 5 minutes per day, to get used to the sounds, the sentence structures, improve, learn, enrich your vocabulary. And then when you have a chance, when you feel a little bit confident, you can try to speak the language. So what I did was I downloaded the app and then tried to practice for 5 minutes per day, and eventually it just became a habit. And you know, Duolingo is based on gamification. They want you to remember that you need to practice every day to get that extra point. And then, if you don't answer the questions correctly, you're gonna probably lose the chance. It just, kind of motivates you to practice. So what I actually learned at the beginning was the vocabulary, the pinyin, and characters. But then after a while I also started doing the oral part, because I think at the beginning you are not given the chance to practice it, or at least 1000 days ago the app didn't give me the chance to do it, or there was no function like that. Now you can even read, but in the past I think they didn't have that section. I think I kept practicing on Duolingo every single day, no matter where I was, in which country I was. I just did it, and I usually do it right before going to bed, because it's a part of the routine that I kind of set for myself, not to forget to practice. Well, if you've ever studied Chinese, you know that tones in Chinese are very important. They are essential, and if you pronounce the word using another tone, then you might say something that you don't want to say. For example, I think in Chinese if you say ma, it means to scold someone. But if you say ma, it means like mother. There is another one, ma, it means horse. So how do you actually distinguish which one is which? So that you need to pay attention to the tones. Duolingo actually helped me to distinguish these tones, try to pronounce them correctly, or try so many times to pronounce them correctly. Apart from the tones, there is also the pinyin, which is like Chinese in Latin letters, and you need to know pinyin to be able to read the characters. the characters that you don't know. You know the famous Chinese brand, the one that produces phones and even cars and everything, a lot of appliances these days. So if you see the characters, you don't understand what it is, but if you see the Xiaomi written in Latin letters, you will know how to read them, because on top of the letters you also have these tones, and it helps you understand how to pronounce that word correctly. So Duolingo actually helped me understand this part, because I turned that on the app. You have the function to like enable and disable it, and you can have this pinyin on characters. So it's a way for you to get used to it. But I would definitely recommend that you turn that off after some time, because you automatically look at the pinyin instead of the characters, and you don't learn the characters. Oh, by the way, if you don't know, xiao means small, mi means rice. So that famous Xiaomi means small rice. Oh, one more thing that I like about Duolingo is that it has the function that allows you to practice writing. So write in the character. It is actually therapeutic, especially if you don't need to take an exam and check your knowledge. So if you don't have this pressure, it feels very therapeutic to practice Chinese characters. Actually, when you use Duolingo a lot, you eventually learn the Chinese sentence structure as well, because it's quite different from the English, from the Italian. And however, I've noticed that it has some similarities with my native language, which is Armenian, and I think for me it's a lot easier to understand the Chinese sentence structures. Yeah, I think I would say that Armenian knowledge helped me in mastering or understanding, comprehending the Chinese sentence structure. Now, the problem, not everything is perfect. I think there's nothing perfect. So Duolingo also comes with its disadvantages. So the first one is that unfortunately it doesn't help you improve your oral Chinese. It has some exercises which is aimed at improving your communication skills. However, it's just reading sentences or pronouncing a word. However, it's not what a real day-to-day communication looks like. That's a really big disadvantage of Duolingo, that you can't master oral skills. However, to be honest, I've noticed that there is a function. You can pay, and there's AI, probably it's called Max. You can use to communicate in Chinese with this AI Max. But eventually, when you try to pronounce these words or sentences in Chinese correctly, and the app understands you, you feel confident. But when you go out to the Chinese society and you talk to people, if you actually haven't mastered the tones, people are not going to understand you, and they'll be like, 什么？你说什么？ Like, what did you say? So I explain this in two different ways. First of all, I think they don't expect a foreigner to speak Chinese, and they don't expect to see a foreigner in China, especially in some parts of China. I'm not talking about Shanghai, because Shanghai is like kind of international. But they're actually shocked, first of all, and then that's one of the reasons why maybe they don't pay attention to what you said, or they couldn't understand what you said. So, and as I said in my Armenian video, if you're an extrovert, maybe you would try to say the sentence one more time and they will understand you. But if you're an introvert, you might be like, oh, I couldn't say this sentence correctly, they didn't understand me, what am I gonna do? All this time that I've spent on trying to improve my oral skills, oral like spoken Chinese skills, it was all in vain, and people didn't understand me. This is me, okay. So it's very discouraging. They don't put the effort to understand you. But it's not about everyone, obviously. So this is the reason why foreigners, or me, we tend to communicate with with the Chinese who can actually speak English, and because the communication is a lot easier. I think now I have more or less HSK4 level, which is, according to the new HSK4, it is the equivalent of this B1. I think if I keep practicing for 2 months, like if I have daily practice for a month or two, I would be able to pass HSK4. At the moment, I have no intentions of applying for a university. I think it would just be interesting to check my knowledge, because I don't need the document now. I don't need the certificate of an HSK4 to apply for a university. I mean, if you have HSK4, you can apply for a master's degree in China and then apply for a scholarship as well. But now, since I'm working at a university, I don't need the certificate now. But anyway, I would like to try it, and if I pass it or if I take it, I will let you know. One more thing that I've done to learn Chinese or improve my understanding, improve my knowledge, was not every single day, but at the beginning I would watch YouTube videos. There are a lot of YouTubers, Chinese teachers, Mandarin teachers who have very good content, and they explain pinyin, they explain characters, they explain sentence structures. And if you're struggling with pinyin, I would recommend that you go and check out some of the teachers on YouTube. Yeah, I think it would help you feel confident. Apart from YouTube, I've also bought a subscription of DuChinese, which means read Chinese. It's an app, a website that has a lot of good content. On the app, on the website, they have texts in Chinese. You can turn on and turn off the pinyin. If you don't want to get used to the pinyin, you turn it off and you focus on the characters. If you don't understand the text, you click on the word, on the character, and it can show you the translation. And it can also translate the whole sentence. Then you can add it to the section of flashcards and then practice your knowledge with the help of the flashcards. It's like another way to use gamification to study a language. And they also have dialogues about daily life, different topics. I think you could actually read them to familiarize yourself with real life situations, like how to hail a taxi, how to go to the bank, Chinese culture related stories including Wukong and Three Kingdoms. And yeah, here I have some books. I'm going to show these to you. This is perfect for those who actually memorize words if they understand the logic behind it. Oh, by the way, this is Sun Wukong. If you're not familiar with him, go check out his stories. These are the books of Wukong. Obviously, these are the adapted version. These are the easy ones. And here in the book, I'll show you one page. So we have the Chinese text, and we also have the pinyin on top, and you can read that if you don't know the character. One of the easiest characters in Chinese is this character of Shan, character of mountain, which is this one. So it actually looks like a mountain. So if you memorize words by just looking at by associating it with something that you are already familiar with, I think these kind of books are for you. It has the opinion, it has the character, it has a sentence that you can read, and also it shows the stroke order, which is really important in Chinese. And it also says how many strokes there are in the word. Like this one, Shan has 3. I have 4 of these. I think in total there are 3,000. There must be 12,000 characters. So if I were to study a new language, would I use Duolingo? I think I would, but I wouldn't rely solely, only on Duolingo. I would combine that with other sources like YouTube, and reading and writing. Well, it depends how you study a language. For example, in my case, I study a language not by listening, unfortunately, but by writing and by reading. I need to understand why I'm saying this word in this way, why I'm using this word in a sentence in this way, not in another way. Unfortunately, I think this is disadvantage, but at least I know my learning style. Well, let me know in the comments whether you're already using Duolingo, how many Duolingo streaks you have, and which language you're learning. I hope this video was useful, it was helpful, and well, see you in my next videos. Bye, ciao. Well, that's in Chinese. 再见.